He is a monster. That's probably the last Bulls pick I was happy with since D-Rose.
Now the Bulls season's really, really looking pretty scary. I'm happy to be a Bulls fan.
Same. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, August 14th. It's a very special day. Today is the very first day of the Average Joe basketball show, and I am here with Logan Becker and our producer, Michael McNally, a.k.a. Michael McNarly. And, this is our first stab at a podcast, so.
What we got going for us first?
Go ahead. You can start us off.
Let's just start with the top 5 and not top 5 rookies of this draft. Going off of Fitz, as this draft class was very, very talented, in my opinion. So it's not top 5 players, not top 5. They're all talented. It's just the fits on their teams and how they will and won't work. So my top 5 rookies for their fits, I got to go with Davion Mitchell on the Kings. I feel he's the perfect Robin to go along with Spider Mitchell or shit. De'Aaron Fox on the Kings. I don't know what I was thinking of.
Because the last names are both Mitchell. It's a little confusing. And
they look
both
alike too.
6 foot. Davion Mitchell's 6 foot.
There's a tweet going around when he was at Baylor saying, "Damn, Donovan didn't know you played at Baylor." So I think he goes along well with De'Aaron Fox. Both very dynamic offensive, but also well known for their defense. Also very scary backcourt. And I feel he will bring a spark along with the Kings. Just defensively, it's very hard to find guards that hustle that hard on defense, but can also play offense that well too. And that's why I like Davion Mitchell.
I'd like to add on to that. I was watching some of the Summer League. You actually sent me a clip of Davion Mitchell, and he was playing some defense. He was playing like a half-court press, and I forget who they were playing, forgive me, but as soon as the guard passed over the half-court line, he was immediately pressing him, making him like pretty much turn the ball over. He picked up his dribble, forced the turnover, and he's just that type of dog mentality guard. I don't know how well he'll fit on the Kings, to be honest, because, they already have De'Aaron Fox, who's an explosive point guard, does a little bit of everything, gets to the basket at will pretty much because he's so fast. And I don't know if they can coexist together. Maybe he'll come off the bench and that'll work better for them, but I don't see them being on the court at the same time because that'd make their backcourt undersized as well.
They may not be on the same court together much, or maybe even at all. And a lot of people think they would want to draft a big with the Marvin Bagley. Marvin
Bagley sucks.
Yes. You think they would want a big, but I feel they can find somebody, being in Sacramento, nice area, they feel they can attract a free agent or even in a future draft get a big, or even if Marvin Bagley has some trade value, even trade him in the future. So then going to the first not top 5, I got to go with Jalen Suggs. Amazing player. Don't know how he fit with the Magic. I just don't see Jalen Suggs being he's very good offensively, but as you could see, Cole Anthony even struggled being on a Magic team only offensively.
You cannot compare Cole Anthony to Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is an absolute dog.
Very good offensively, sucks on defense.
You see the hustle glass block that he had?
Hustle comes in Summer League because they try to prove a point.
I guess, but to an extent, I also just see that. I guess you can't really judge a player based off of their Summer League performances either, because when Trae Young first came into the league, he had a terrible Summer League. Everybody was freaked out. And they're also playing against other first-year players or super old players who are trying to get on a roster, G
Even
League players.
undrafted dudes trying to fight for a spot on a team.
Exactly. But I just don't agree with you there. I understand that there's 4 guards in their rotation. They got Michael Carter-Williams, Cole Anthony, Markelle, and now Jalen Suggs too. And that's going to be a super competitive place. I don't know who's going to start. I don't know.
So for the Magic, it hit me as they took this draft as trying to just get the best talent possible, which isn't the worst thing, but on a Magic team, I feel like you're in a spot to look for the correct pieces where they got bigs as Mo Bamba, Isaac, and Wendell Carter. Who's their small forward?
Oh, their small forward? Oh, I know it was. Now we just sound stupid.
No, that's a point proven.
Yeah.
They needed small forwards and they need more bigs. The Bulls got rid of Wendell Carter for a reason. He wasn't going to be that player to carry them, and they feel like he wasn't going to be a big piece in their future. The Bulls are looking to get the pieces they need to win now, not. And also, it is a future move because, I mean, Vucevic is only 30, 31, so he's still got some time being a big also. But Jalen Suggs on the Magic, I feel there were other pieces in that draft that could have fit better on the Magic than Jalen Suggs, whereas the Magic were just going for who's the best guy in the draft right now.
Okay, that's understandable.
So next on the top 5 rookie fits, I got to go with probably my steal of the draft, Jalen Johnson on the Hawks. I believe he was picked 20th in the draft as a 6'9" shooting guard, small forward on a very young, electric Hawks team.
Jalen Johnson is super athletic. He handles the ball well. He can play the 2 or the 3, like you said. I think this is a great pickup for Atlanta. It adds a little more depth. I mean, ultimately, Kevin Huerter's just not going to cut it as a 2 or whoever they may bring. It may be DeAndre Hunter because he was hurt last year. But I think if you give this kid time to develop, he could become something really great. With his size, his skill set, he hustles. I really like Jalen Johnson. I can't agree more.
Trae Young will definitely make his job easier, which is why I believe Kevin Huerter did so well in those final playoffs when they made their outstanding playoff run. Kevin Huerter was a big part, but I think it was also because of Trae Young.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy when you're another Hawks player. I mean, Trae Young has the ball 90% of the time. So you get to run off screens and do whatever you pretty much want and sit in the corner and wait till the defense collapses when Trae Young does a pick and roll drive or something like that. It's rather simple to be a Hawks player.
And then next on the not top 5, everyone in the world should know this, Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey. Thunder, I don't know. Maybe they're just like, oh, we got 30 draft picks. We could waste a few of them. But I don't know why they would do that. Josh Giddey. Oh, my God. You want to start on Josh Giddey?
I'll start on Josh Giddey. I'll start. He's not athletic. He's 6'8" point guard. He does have good court vision. I'll give him that. But he's not fast. He played in Australian League. Almost averaged a triple-double at 18 years old, which is rather impressive. I mean, it was only like 10 points. 9 boards, 9 assists. So it's not like he was scoring the ball like super well. He can get to the basket. Not a great shooter though. And ultimately, I think that OKC was just maybe trying to outsmart some of these other teams and maybe think they had a diamond in the rough there. But defensively, he's slow. He can't move his feet laterally. And if you're going to play him at a guard position, he's going to get burnt every possession. That's all there is to it.
Watching his Australian highlights.
It's like watching paint dry. It was truly.
Well, you watch some of his highlights. So when he drives with his head down. He lowers his shoulder, drives his head down, gets nowhere. But that's being an 18-year-old kid playing pro. I mean, you're not going to bully dudes around when you're 18. But once someone puts too much pressure on him, they cut him off with his head down. He picks the ball up. I swear there was probably 5 or 6 clips of him picking the ball up while on a drive and at the free throw line and stops. and he's in panic mode, waiting for someone to cut. Obviously, there's so much spacing and overseas ball to where it worked out for him. He'd find a cutter, but it was that's not going to cut it in the NBA, especially when
teams are playing a zone defense. And
and bigs are a lot lazier. They be sitting down in the paint a lot, so you're not going to get too many cutters when you're in frenzy mode like that. And his jump shot is so slow.
I think his release looks okay. Like
he's got a good
his
form.
upper release, like his form is nice, but his legs
and is just slow.
Yeah, it is slow. I mean, even being 6'8", he can get blocked by a 6-foot guard. In my opinion, he's that slow.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, Josh Giddey. I'm sorry, OKC fans. I feel bad for you guys. You guys have Pokuševski to write it out on. I like Poku. But
they got Shai too to look forward to.
Oh yeah, Shai just signed that fat contract. You guys have a dog mentality team. You guys play hard. Like at the end of last year, I was like, why are you guys even winning games? At this point, it's just time to tank and get a higher draft pick. But it was really odd to see. It's like Shai is carrying these teams. Lou Dort is going off, and they're trying to win games when I can just say the T word, and that's tank.
Yeah, and like with the big Shai contract, you got Lou Dort emerging as a powerhouse too. Why get a 6'8" point guard? I mean, they obviously must think that he's going to run an offense with the second team, but I don't see that happening.
I don't see it
He's
either.
got a simple handle. He forces passes. It's just not going to cut it in the NBA, even though the NBA's, according to most pros, the NBA is a lot easier than college. I still don't think he'll cut it in the NBA.
I don't want to dig too much on Josh Giddey. So, I mean,
no, he's
only 18. He's got some potential.
Maybe
he could grow a little bit, but if he develops and he grows and being like I don't know, let's say 6'11" forward, like at the 4, that could be something. But I don't see playing him at a guard position.
No, the best thing Giddey can do at this age is learn the 4. Unlike Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons should have been played at the 4 ever since he became a rookie. I think that would have helped him so much more. So Giddey's got some upside if they play him at the 4. And then back on number 3 for our top 5 rookie fits, Kai Jones off of the Hornets.
Love Kai Jones. The biggest thing I like about Kai Jones is he's 20 years old now. He started playing basketball when he was 15, and now he's in the NBA.
Kai Jones is a monster, and when you got an exciting team like the Hornets, you got Miles Bridges, you got LaMelo Ball, you got Kelly Oubre now, who's a highlight reel. It's a team that just lives book night. You got a team that just lives off of highlights, and it actually starts with LaMelo dishing out those highlights to lobs to Bridges. You got Kelly Oubre now is going to be dunking over everybody, and so
okay, I don't know about all that, but okay.
he's got his highlights, man. And then Kai Jones is just a paint monster. He gets to the hoop at will, and he could get up there. And
Uber athletic.
LaMelo's gonna love that for sure.
Uber athletic. I could see him like setting pick and rolls and just rolling hard to the basket, catching lobs, slamming it on people's heads. He's already had one of the best dunks in the summer league so far.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, Kai Jones is great. I really like what Charlotte's doing.
So number 3 for the not top 5, and this list is by fits on their team. So I'm not knocking this guy at all because he's probably one of the best dudes in the draft, Scotty Barnes on the Raptors. He was phenomenal. I believe he came out of Florida State University. Yep. Was phenomenal. But I don't see him fully fitting on the Raptors because I don't even know what type of system the Raptors run. I don't even know if the Raptors know what type of system they run. But when you got a dude with like Pascal Siakam, who the Raptors still trust a lot, but didn't cut it, it's kind of hard for Scotty Barnes because you're like, oh, you sucked last year, but yet the ball's in your hands in the final minute every time. So, and it's just Scotty Barnes is. I don't think he wants to be on the Raptors. He wouldn't want to be on the Raptors just because they're in a weird spot right now.
They are in a weird spot. Scotty Barnes, the one thing I respect about Scotty Barnes is his intensity on the defensive end. Like, you look at his FSU highlights and he's full court pressing dudes. He's got just a ridiculous motor that doesn't stop. He's got like almost like a Rodman-esque type of grit and grind to him.
That can score.
No, he averaged 10 points per game. He can't score. That's the thing.
He averaged 20.
No, he had 20 in a game in his first game in the summer league. He had 20. I give him that. This is the summer league. Like I said, you're playing against first and second year players, dudes who are on G League teams competing for a spot in the NBA. Super old dudes. I mean, it's not the competition that you're going to see in the NBA.
Mike, who did the Raptors get on free agency? You can pull up the Raptors real quick. Right there. So they added Sam Decker, Goran Dragic, and Prescia. I like the Goran, but at the same time, they lost some nice pieces.
Bembry's been going off in the summer league. Rodney Hood, he's a well-respected veteran. I mean, and the biggest loss, obviously, is Kyle Lowry to the Heat. That's huge.
Yes. But I do have to admit that trade to me was a little even as they added Goran Dragic.
And a young player like Precious.
Yeah, Precious. I like Precious a lot.
I like Precious too.
But between Kyle and Goran, they're both up there in age. I think the Raptors are ready to have Van Fleet kind of take charge now and have Goran, teach them some veteran ways and come off the bench and lead that too. Because Goran, I believe, is the perfect dude to lead the two.
At a certain point, you have to realize that you're no longer a championship contender. I mean, they won the ship. The years since that have been rather up and down, kind of roller coastery, and you got to know when to blow it up. And I think they're doing the right decision here. They've acquired a lot of young talent. I don't know how Scotty Barnes will fit there because, like I said, he can't score the damn ball.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to watching him play. It's just there's so many. It sucks that the Raptors just had the 4th pick for him. It's tough.
It is tough.
And then for number 4 on my top 5 rookie fits, my boy Jonathan Kuminga on the Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga, the man is a dog. And playing on a Warriors team, as long as they are healthy, Kuminga is in the right spot to flourish as a player and learn the definition of team ball.
I have heard that he fell to 7th. He's got all the potential in the world. I really do think he's great. But Kuminga, I've heard, was rather selfish. It was all about him. If he's going to learn to be more mature and not to be so selfish, this is the perfect team for him to go to. Steve Kerr and the Warriors, I mean, Steve Kerr has openly admitted he doesn't even like to run pick and roll because it only involves 2 players.
Exactly.
He likes to keep the ball moving, get everybody involved, everybody counts. But at the same time, I've also heard that some of the Warriors players don't want him because they want to win now. They don't want to have this rookie who needs time to develop. I mean, he might be NBA ready. You see a lot of NBA rookies come in. I mean, look at Terrence Mann last year. He's a rookie, came in for the Clippers and played huge minutes last year in the playoffs. But I don't know if Kuminga's ready for that. And these Warriors players, Steph, Clay, Draymond, even Iggy, are looking to win right now. They don't want to wait for people to develop like they did with Wiseman last year. Wiseman is still developing. Don't get me wrong. I think Wiseman's great. Big man who has the potential to become a semi-consistent shooter from 3, knock down free throws. All around. He gets blocks, rebounds the ball well.
If the Warriors stay healthy, I have a feeling they could run deep in the playoffs. I have a feeling they could be a sleeper team to run deep in the playoffs if they stay healthy. Just the chemistry, because they have a lot of the same players from 4 or 5 years back. And Kuminga coming from Ignite, I think helps him a lot. He came from the G League basically. And so that's not like rookie ready. You're playing with basically semi-pros and that have either been in the NBA or working towards getting to the NBA. The G League's no joke. Them dudes hustle every chance they get.
Yeah, they're all fighting for a spot on a roster. You're playing against grown men is my biggest thing. You're playing college ball. You're playing with other kids your age for the most part. When you're playing against grown men, they got that grown man strength. They got a whole different type of fight. Everybody's fighting for an NBA contract to get even signed to like a two-way deal, and it's really competitive. People knock the G League, but it's no joke.
It was kind of sad to see though. Jonathan Kuminga got the dub last night, but he had 6 turnovers last night. 6 as a 3 and a 4. The ball was probably in his hands a lot, but 6 turnovers at the 3 and the 4 can't happen. Play the 3 and the 4, you got to get more than 3 rebounds a game. You got to have more than 0 assists. It was a tough one, but not bad defensively for an offensive player. Now for the not top 5 picks, I got Ayo Dosunmu from the Bulls. A lot of money just went towards a ton of guards because we drafted a guard that didn't cut it.
Yeah, I like Ayo because he's a U of I guy. I mean, we're here in the state of Illinois. We're Bulls fans. Try not to be too biased because we're attempting a basketball podcast. But yeah, I don't know how Ayo is going to fit with the signing of Lonzo and Caruso. That's tough to fight a spot in the roster for that. I mean, I don't know if he'll go down to the G League. I'd like to see him go to the G League and maybe develop a little bit. Maybe we trade him in the future. I don't know what's going to happen to Ayo, but
right, because the starting lineup for the Bulls is pretty damn scary, and the bench has a little bit of depth, but not all that there. And when you're trying to get a little more depth, you could let that rookie develop in the second string. The second string could help him out a lot. But when you got a guard, because we got Caruso and we still have White on the bench, where does Ayo fit in there?
I honestly don't see a spot for him over those guys. While we're on the topic of the Bulls, let's talk about that for a little while. We got Lonzo, Levine, DeRozan, Pat Williams, and Vucevic as our starting 5. That's really scary, honestly. The Bulls acquired a lot of different guys and Caruso off the bench. We acquired a lot of people for not much in return. Mike, could you scroll up to the Bulls real quick? I believe we gave up Satoransky, we gave up Thad Young, and we gave up a couple second rounders. But that's a lot to get for... Oh, wow. Okay. So we lost Al-Farouq Amino as well. Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice is trash. And Garrett Temple, too. Garrett Temple's old. So I really don't see a whole lot that we lost in return for these players here.
Exactly. And we signed Caruso. I believe that $37 million was definitely worth it for Caruso. I like that Caruso pickup a lot.
How many years again?
I believe it was a 4-year.
Okay.
4-year.
That's doable.
And then what I like about DeRozan is last season, a lot of his minutes were at the 4, and he thrived at the 4 offensively and defensively. There's not many people in the NBA today that do that bully ball down low at the 4, and which is why I like DeMar at the 4.
This is a whole different league. Not a whole lot of people at the 4 or the 5 for that matter post up and try to play bully ball. There's not a lot of players who have big footwork anymore. I mean, the biggest guy in the league who's just an utter dominant force catches the ball and faces up at the high post, and that's Joel Embiid. He doesn't really back people down. He catches the ball, faces up. Giannis, another example.
Giannis does the rip through jab and then just drives. It's not a back down, and honestly, I feel like even DeRozan might not play at the 4. That's just always an option we could do. If he wants to run with the second stringers at times, he could be at the 4 and help the second stringers down low. Because DeRozan and Pat Williams, they could be interchangeable. Both of them can run the 3 or the 4, which I like a lot.
I just want to point out real quick that last that I had seen, Pat Williams was averaging like 24 points a game, 11 boards on 40% shooting from 3 in the summer league.
He is a monster. That's probably the last Bulls pick I was happy with since D-Rose.
Honestly, yeah. And our Bulls front office, I was not happy with for the past, I don't know how many years. It's been rather atrocious being a Bulls fan. If you follow the NBA, you know the Bulls have been trashed for the last God knows how many years.
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, right before we got Levine and the draft picks and Chris Dunn. All around Chicago is trending fire Garpax. Get them out of here.
Literally billboards of fire Garpax. Gar Forman and John Paxson have since been gone. And I mean, now the Bulls season's really, really looking pretty scary. I'm happy to be a Bulls fan.
Same. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So that was my top 5 offense or off-season team that did amazing this offseason. Now, my first team that I thought didn't do so well this offseason was the Celtics. I feel they want to get as many contenders as they almost beat the big 3 Nets with just Jason Tatum. But Jason Tatum is not going to lead the Celtics team on his own in a very deep East.
He needs help. That's plain and simple. I mean, who are you going to rely on? Peyton Pritchard? They got rid of Kemba. Jaylen Brown, he's a dog. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It's the 2 of them, but he was injured last year during the playoffs, and it was pretty much Jason Tatum on his own. They put him out there on an island, and that was it. And I mean, it's not like he's not one of the best players in the league. He's incredible for his age. His skill set, he's basically a bigger version of Kobe right now. I mean, he's not to Kobe's level because Kobe's top 3 player of all time. But Jason Tatum was literally dropping 50 bombs on the Nets' big 3. So
exactly the 50 bomb, and they just need more depth. I mean, their starting 5 to me isn't even that strong, and because you got Robert Williams starting.
Robert Williams is your starting 5. That's pretty bad.
He's a very good defender.
He's a good role player.
Yeah, a good role player. And role players, they need to be on the bench more than half the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need a couple more, maybe one more star, and then a couple of solid role players, and they'll be okay.
Even not a star. You just need a guy that was at least snubbed from the All-Star team even.
Yeah, I agree with that. So
now let's talk about the old man Lakers. I don't care. I love it. I saw this post the other day about the old man Lakers, and above it was the Bulls, their old ass Bulls team, and the
97,
Lakers,
98 Bulls.
Yeah, and the Lakers team. I didn't do the math, but it seemed as if they were younger because the Bulls didn't even have a dude under the age of 30.
Yeah, that was an old seasoned Chicago Bulls team, but you got to remember they had Michael Jordan on that team.
They got AD who's 28, LeBron who's 36. His numbers will slowly decline as the years go on, but he's still a top 10 dude in the league.
Oh, LeBron?
Yes.
Yeah, he's top 5.
Because he adjusts his game to the league. And then you got Westbrook, who I actually feel will thrive being on this Lakers team. So everyone knocks Westbrook for being a terrible teammate, but every time he went to a team, I don't know if you consider him Batman or Robin, but the other star had their best numbers with him. Paul George, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, all had their best numbers while playing along Russell Westbrook. And I don't think that'll be LeBron. I think that'll be AD, who kind of struggled recently.
Yeah. The signing, I don't know. On paper, I don't think it looks too good. They have limited floor spacing with that guy on the floor. But, however, I do want to say that with Westbrook on the floor, LeBron on the floor, AD on the floor, they got rid of Kuzma's bum ass. I really do think that those are a bunch of guys who are experienced NBA vets, all top 20 players in the league for sure, maybe top 15. and they all have their correct mentality. Westbrook is not afraid to take the final shot. He's a winning player. People say that he's not because he's all for himself. He rebounds the ball when he should be running down the court and this and that. But the fact of the matter is that he is a pure pit bull.
He is a dog, just a dog in general. And even though they signed all these older players in the offseason, they still are very young. They signed Malik Monk. He's, 25, 26? They got Talon Horton-Tucker, who's only 20, and he's going to be a big piece in this season.
McClung.
They got Mac. He's hopefully the next Caruso, and is a lot cheaper than Caruso.
Yeah, Mac McClung. I really like that signing from the Lakers. Mac McClung came out of Georgetown, transferred to Texas A&M, went undrafted, and now was offered a G League contract for the Lakers. And now he's signed on their roster. So.
And Mike pulled it up. They also, I forgot, Kendrick Nunn, who's going to be great.
Oh, Kendrick Nunn's great. Yeah. I don't know why he didn't play for the Heat in the playoffs whatsoever. He was just non-existent last year. I have no clue because he can come off the bench. He can shoot. His defense isn't great, but he's a spark off the bench for sure.
And you look at all their losses. KCP can't shoot the ball worth a shit even after training with a lethal shooter. And he could fix anyone's jumper.
Shot like 30% from three maybe last year.
Oh my God, it's terrible watching their games sometimes.
Yeah.
Their biggest loss to me was honestly Montrezl Harrell. He is a paint beast. And they honestly lucked out with not getting Dennis Schroeder, in my opinion. He hasn't done nothing to earn that $84 million he was offered, in my opinion, but sucks for him. I kind of feel bad for him. He signed for little over $5 million instead of a $84 million
Schroeder.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, he's something else. I don't understand that.
And Markieff Morris, that's a big loss also, as he is he's a second string engine, in my opinion. But other than that, they got a lot more than they lost, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. Lakers have always been a great organization. They've rarely had many losing seasons. They were bad for a little while, but that's to be expected. Every team's going to have good years and bad. So,
yeah, once you start a dynasty, it's going to come down eventually, like the Warriors, obviously. And so now let's go over to the Heat. They are my sleeper in the East, in my opinion. They got Lowry, who will be a lot better offensively for the Heat, unlike Goran. Goran led the team perfectly, just didn't have that offensive spark that Lowry will have.
I don't know, man. Goran's he's a pretty consistent shooter. I'm not gonna say he's an outstanding jump shooter, but he's a pretty consistent shooter. He knows how to pass the ball. He's a great playmaker. Runs a pick and roll very well. Much like Lowry. Lowry runs a pick and roll very well. I do believe that Lowry is still an upgrade. Don't get me wrong, but I think Goran was a big part of that Heat team last year.
Oh, no, for sure. Lowry, I like Lowry because he was a big team of the championship team in the Raptors, in which the Heat are hoping to get out of him is a championship contending Kyle Lowry. But the difference between Lowry and Goran is Lowry's a guy you can put the ball in your hands and almost close enough ISO a guy for the final shot, where just go around 15 seconds left on the clock. He's going to want to run a play and get the ball in someone else's hand.
Yep, he's passing the ball off to somebody else.
It's a different league. It's probably smarter to run a play, but it's not how the NBA works these days, sadly. But they added PJ Tucker, which is probably their best pickup this offseason.
Absolutely. PJ Tucker, I mean, you just seen him win a ring last year on Milwaukee. That entire series played tremendous defense.
The whole playoffs. He didn't get a break.
Yeah, the whole playoffs, honestly. And people, he is older, but you've seen him time and time again. He's got another motor that doesn't stop. He's an absolute dog mentality player. He's willing to give up his body on the play. Fouls a lot, but that's to be expected of a player who's out there only for his defense pretty much and his corner three.
Him and Giannis worked amazing, and so that's why I like this, because I think him and Bam are going to do wonders also. And they just extended Jimmy Butler for a nice, amazing contract he signed. I think it was a 5-year. 5-year extension.
He's getting paid more than Kawhi.
That's nice. He's earned it. Kawhi, I mean, it sucks that you get hurt a bit, but Jimmy's out there busting his ass, and he deserves it. The Mavericks. What
Hot garbage.
What have they been doing besides giving Luka Doncic basically everything?
Shoot.
Besides a supporting cast.
They're willing to give up their entire salary cap for Luka, but not sign anybody else to make the team better.
I think what hurt them the most was the KCP drama, how he wasn't happy, and players around the league hearing like KCP, KCP's he's a dog, but if he's not happy on the Mavericks, am I going to be happy on the Mavericks? And it stinks because
KCP?
Yeah, Porzingis.
Oh, this Kentavious Caldwell Pope is KCP.
Oh, shit.
Kristaps. Yeah.
KP.
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, KP. They still have him. Hopefully, him and Luka work something out to where they can actually form a duo, whereas they just struggled together on the court.
So how good the Dallas Mavericks were last year is basically in the playoffs. I mean, you've seen that Luka versus Paul George series pretty much. That was incredible to watch. I really wanted Luka to win.
Oh, I love Luka.
I love Luka. Luka's incredible.
And he earned all the money that he signed, but...
Oh, absolutely. But the Mavericks front office, I don't know what's going on in your head. Like, you've literally added Sterling Brown and Reggie Bullock through free agency, acquired Moses Brown, and that's not enough. Their team is not deep whatsoever. They're starting...
They lost a good defensive guard in Josh Richardson.
Josh Richardson...
He was a good defender.
On the Sixers, in my opinion, but
he held up the defense that Luka couldn't hold up on because Luka is not a defensive player, really.
I don't know if Luka's not a defensive player or he's not a defensive player because he's exerting all of his energy on every play offensively.
Carrying the team on his back.
Yeah.
But they did add Moses Brown, and I think he has a lot of upside towards him.
Oh, yeah. Moses Brown is, last year he was grabbing like 20 boards in some games. He's a dominant big man. He's a big force. He's a big body. Having him off the bench behind Kristaps would really, really add some depth. But as for the Mavericks itself, you didn't make it to the finals last year. You need to sign more players and to make moves to go towards the front, or you need to blow it up. One or the other. They're not going to blow it up because they just signed Luka to a huge deal.
It is nice to have that comfort feeling, though, that you got him for 5 years. That
he
ain't going nowhere.
You can build around him, but as of this season, you've made no effort to go towards the top and no effort to make any other trades to maybe acquire some younger players or even a couple veterans to throw around Luka. They're just in a dumpster fire situation.
They haven't gotten nobody new besides their draft picks. The only reason why they got that KP trade was because KP didn't want to be on the Knicks. The Knicks didn't want him there. And they ended up giving nothing in return for KP. And it's honestly a win for the Mavericks, but that's the only reason why they got KP. They haven't been getting nobody besides their draft picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, but Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is great. He can shoot the hell out of the ball.
Hardaway. Yeah, he's a sniper.
Norman Powell, Melly, those guys just aren't going to cut it around Luka.
The Knicks. What are your takes on the Knicks?
The New York Knicks. Signing Kemba's huge for them. But they are a super guard-heavy team. I didn't really understand why you needed another guard when you have players like... I know he's not Emmanuel Quickley's level. Kemba's levels and levels above Emmanuel Quickley, but you got players like Quickley, D-Rose, Frank Ntilikina. Ntilikina doesn't really play.
Free agent. I like the Kemba signing because D-Rose, to me, I feel like he likes working with the second string and carrying the second string. He thrives off the bench. He learned to know his role and actually appreciate being the second stringer, and I like that a lot. And he can even run the two. If they want to start D Rose at the two, I'm all for it. He learned how to run the two. He could shoot the ball a lot better than when he first came to the league. And they even they got Julius Randle.
Julius Randle was out of his mind last season.
He
Truly incredible.
He was insane. I believe they still re-signed Nerlens Noel to a small contract, which is nice. A defensive anger.
I mean, you still got players like Mitchell Robinson and stuff like that.
Mitchell Robinson will come back. He was hurt, I believe, a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he has some upside to him. But I like that the Knicks got a star in Kemba. And then they also got Fournier. I don't like Fournier as a starter. He's always started. I don't know why he starts.
I think he's one of those guys who would be more effective off the bench, coming in and tearing up other teams' second string players.
Just like D Rose, he loves picking on them second stringers.
Oh, absolutely. So Evan Fournier could really bring a lot of depth to that team. But I'd like to see him come off the bench personally.
And what about the Blazers? I wrote down
that they're part of my need help teams.
Oh yeah, they added Zeller and Snell as their only free agent pickups.
Tony Snell.
Oh, and Ben Mclemore.
Yeah, but Ben Mclemore is irrelevant. When he first got drafted,
all three of them are.
I know that much, but Tony Snell should be in the G League or overseas. He's pretty damn bad. Ben Mclemore, when he first got drafted, everybody was super high on him. He had a lot of potential. I mean, he's still okay, but ultimately he should be like a 10th man in your roster.
And you lost Carmelo, who is almost 38 years old and was probably...
He's ring chasing, my man.
He was probably the third best player on that team besides behind McCollum and Lillard, and they lost him.
And they lost Cantor as well. Cantor is like the...
defensive anchor. He's a defensive anchor, in my opinion.
He's top 3 in the league in offensive rebounding as well. So he's a huge presence. He's going to do well for the Celtics. That's one Celtics move that was kind of underlooked. I like that Enes Kanter move. Him going back to Boston, that'll be nice.
Yeah, that will be. And they're in a Mavs situation where they're giving all the money in the world to Damian Lillard, as they should be, but they need to find pieces for him. And Tony Snell and Cody Zeller and Ben Mclemore are not the pieces that will get Damian Lillard deep in the playoffs.
Oh, I think Dame will probably end up going somewhere else. The biggest talks have been with Philly. I don't know if Ben Simmons will go to Portland, but we'll see how this all plays out.
The way Philly wants to trade Ben Simmons, they ain't ever going to trade his ass.
No. They're asking way too much. They think they have a top 3 player in the league or something.
They think they got Magic Johnson reincarnated.
Yeah, but it's really not. It's just sad. I don't know what the Sixers are going to do. Obviously, they're not there at a championship contender. Don't get me wrong, they're super solid, super good team, but they aren't going to win a ring. This plain and simple.
And the 76ers, they added Drummond and Green.
Drummond on the 76ers is the dumbest pickup, I think, of the offseason.
It was so early in the free agency, too.
So early.
I think they signed him like first day of spring or free agency. First day.
Drummond wants to go somewhere else to get more playing time. So he goes to the team with the best center in the league. I don't understand that. Like, you really think you're going to get minutes over Joel Embiid?
He couldn't even get minutes over hurt Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't getting his role like they promised. And it's like...
He's just a big baby. That's plain and simple. You've seen it on the Cavs.
He dominated on the Cavs. I don't know why he wanted to leave the Cavs if he's all about himself with his minutes and his role. You were dominating on the Cavs. My best fantasy player. He was, when he was playing on the Cavs, he was my best fantasy player. And he decided to sit out because he don't want to play with the Cavs no more.
It's a good thing he got traded because Evan Mobley's going to outplay him anyway.
Right. And that is a good pickup by the Cavs.
That's a huge pickup.
But yeah, going behind Joel Embiid, you're going to be a second stringer and you better prove that you could play the second string.
Absolutely.
And then Danny Green. Why does anyone still want Danny Green?
Danny Green used to be an elite shooter. You've seen him win a couple rings on San Antonio, or maybe just one. He won a ring with Toronto, I believe, too, correct? Was he on that Toronto team?
He was on Toronto for a little bit. And they didn't add him in free agency, but they just still have him on the team, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either. He can't shoot. He plays defense, but I mean, that's about it. That's about it. He cannot create for himself. Can't pass the ball well. Doesn't have the court vision of a point guard or anything. I don't understand why he's still on Philly. Maybe he can come in off of a different team and make a bigger contribution, but I really don't see him being in the league much longer.
No, not at all. And then the last team we could talk about is the Wizards. You want to pull up the Wizards, Mike?
I want to touch on the Rockets real briefly as well.
Okay, we could go to the Rockets real quick, see what Cal has to say about the Rockets.
I think the Rockets have a lot of potential drafting Jalen Green. We talked about this a little bit last night, and you made a valid point that they're missing a couple of veterans that can really, really impact their rookies and their young players' development, and they could help them be the best player that they could possibly be because, I mean, they really don't have a veteran on that team other than John Wall. That's like the Magic a couple years ago.
They had 4 first-round picks that I didn't even realize. They had 4 first-round picks.
Absolutely. They got Kevin Porter Jr. as of last year, not this year. Jalen Green, looking at their
Christopher, Garuba, Alperen Sengun.
And Şengün. Şengün's so good. He's my sleeper. He's got incredible footwork. He looks like freaking Kevin McHale out there. Post spin, pump fake, maybe even Hakeem-esque, but just incredible footwork. Super fundamental ball player. I really like Şengün. He's my sleeper.
They're so young that, like...
The entire team's young. They got Christian Wood. They got Kenyon Martin Jr. Like you said, Şengün. John Wall is literally like their only veteran. And Eric Gordon and Jae'Sean Tate.
Jae'Sean Tate's pretty young, too.
Jae'Sean Tate is young, but he's not a first-year player anymore, so...
Right. And, I'm interested to see what the Rockets, if they actually pay John Wall his money and keep him to look over Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, or if they're looking to trade him for either more veteran role players for cheaper money, or I'm interested to see what they do with John Wall.
Hopefully they can re-sign him, and they have a couple of guys for these guards like Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green to look forward to. All
right, let's go to the Wizards. I want to talk about the Wizards. My least favorite team, and it's also because of their fan base.
It's my least favorite team because Kyle Kuzma's on that fucking team.
So they picked up Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Harrell, and Kyle Kuzma from the Lakers in that Westbrook trade. And the Wizards fans at one point hated all those players while watching Lakers games. Maybe Montrezl Harrell not, but Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma, I don't know how they could look forward to them too when they watched him on the Lakers being
literally hated him.
Be like, God damn, they suck.
They do.
And then now they're on their team and like, oh, our bench is so deep. Like, we're going to be so scary this year. Like, they sucked 2 months ago. What do you mean?
They still suck.
Yeah, they still do. And like Kyle Kuzma, like I brought it up to you the other day. Why does a dude have to be traded or signed a shitty contract to be like, oh, they're going to regret this move?
Yeah, you have to be traded to acquire that dog mentality. Like, oh, I'm going to prove them wrong now. It's like, you should have came into the league with that mentality and you'd have still been signed to the Lakers. Who were
because he was like
a possibility of winning a ring.
He was like the 27th pick, I believe. So that's a mentality you have right there. Be like, oh, all those teams shouldn't have waited so long to draft me or whatever.
Shouldn't have slept on me. It's like, okay, so now you get traded, buddy, and you think you're hot shit. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not even Kuzma. There's a lot of players like that where they're just like, they suck, they get traded, and they're like, oh, they're going to regret that, post their workout videos.
On their Instagrams and all their socials. You see it all over Twitter. And the entire league's blowing up like, oh my gosh, you see how hard Kyle Kuzma's working?
It's like, oh my God, they edited his video to see that he's making all his shots.
Yeah, he had a half-hour shoot-around. He made 5 shots, but we're going to...
And then Spencer Dinwiddie, they signed him to 60-something mil.
What's the bonus? He plays 40 games this year. He gets an extra
50. If he plays 50 games, he gets 1.5 million bonus.
That's how you know this player's injury prone.
That's how you know he's injury prone. It's like, hey, we'll sign you another $1 million if you at least play 50
just
games.
A little over half a season.
And then there was some like shade thrown about Lonzo signing with the Bulls, saying like the previous season Dinwiddie did better than Lonzo. It's like
The previous season, Dinwiddie didn't even play. He played a couple games.
yeah, and it's also about fit on teams, you know. And so Lonzo fits better on the Bulls if you wanted Dinwiddie, or if Dinwiddie's mad about it, Lonzo may fit better on the Bulls, and Dinwiddie may fit better on the Wizards. So
I'll see how it all works out. I don't like the Wizards.
I don't either. The best player they got was Kispert. I do like Isaiah Todd. He was on the G League Ignite also, and he played decently well. And then Montrezl Harrell will be nice. I do like Kispert a lot.
Kispert's his ceiling to me is like a valuable role player. I like Kispert for the reason that he shoots the ball well, plays incredible defense. Like the play, whose buddy that we were just talking about yesterday?
Cam Johnson.
Oh yeah, Cam Johnson, his game winner on the Wizards in the summer league. You've seen Corey Kispert playing incredible defense, almost makes him turn the ball over. He picks up his dribble, fades away, chucks the ball at the rim, and it goes in. It's like, yeah, okay.
The only fear I have for Kispert, and same goes with Suggs, is they played at Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga's the easiest conference. I mean,
Easiest conference, not a lot of true talent.
Compared to other conferences, it's still D1 ball.
It definitely is, and I'm not knocking that at all. But like there's a reason why Gonzaga is always a 1 seed and always is kicked out. Yeah,
they're the 1 seed every year. They got the easiest conference. Go to March Madness, and then they get kicked out.
And then
somewhere.
another, you know, I may be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the famous Adam Morrison went to Gonzaga, comparing him to Larry Bird.
Yeah. Long-haired dude.
Yep, and had the mustache and everything.
Yep.
Being compared to Larry Bird when he get drafted, sucked. Never seen again.
Getting to the league, yeah. What did he play? 1 season, maybe?
1 or 2 seasons, but not really playing.
Yeah, probably overseas.
So that's my only fear about these Gonzaga boys is they just don't face the talent that other college players faced or the G League players faced. It's almost like a Gonzaga streak almost.
I think that's about it, guys. Thank you.
I got one more topic.
Okay.
Best free agent pickup and worst free agent pickup.
Let me think on this. You go first.
So my best free agent pickup is the Lonzo and DeMar. I feel they fit perfect through that rotation of second stringers. And I'm not doing that because I'm biased, because I also have honorable mentions. But I like just the fit they have and the type of players they're surrounded with that go along with their game. Some honorable mentions was Kelly Oubre on the Hornets, another highlight reel player that will flourish off of those moments. Westbrook to the Lakers. I feel he will fit tremendously well with LeBron and AD. And then even PJ Tucker to the Heat. I feel like PJ Tucker on the Heat, that's kind of one of their main pieces they were missing. And I think the Heat will be a very scary team in the East. And then the worst free agent pickup, obviously Andre Drummond. No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. We already said it previously that Andre Drummond was the worst. My best, I'm not going to do free agency pickup because I don't know every free agency pickup off the back of my head.
Trade.
Draft or trade, I really like Kyle Lowry going to the Heat. I think he fits in well with the SPO, grit and grind, defense first team. He can really run an offense through pick and roll. He's can shoot. I just really like Lowry. Maybe it's because I'm short and I'm biased.
Oh, that's true.
I like short players. I am 5'4" for all of you watching. So, yeah, I really am biased towards Lowry. But he does fit well with the grit and grind SPO team. The Heat, Miami's going to be a dog to play against.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The new Bulls-Heat rivalry back in last time they had it was like 2013, 14, 15. It was kind of nice to see that. So we'll get another glimpse at it again.
I think that's about it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Well, this wouldn't be possible without our producer, Michael McNarley. Mike. But thank you all for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Peace.